Yes, you read the title correctly. That was a lot of fun. So, here's the story. It should be a bit obvious since I wear glasses all the time. I have some vision problems. It's not to the point where I can't drive. I can still drive. My problem is I can't see 3D. Yes, I can't see 3D. It's been improving, and here's the reason why. I've been going to vision therapy to help me see 3D, but my appointment is about a two and a half hour drive from my house. So yes, every week I drive 2.5 hours there, spend about an hour at vision therapy, and then another 2.5 hours back. So I've been doing this once a week. But there's a slight problem. Red Fox, my car, if you haven't figured that out already, Red Fox is not really in any condition to drive long distance yet. I got 3 out of the 4 bearings that need replacement. Yes, evidently all of my bearings need replacement, and I found out why. It's because, man, my road is crap. Because Red Fox is not exactly in any condition to drive long distance just yet, that means I've been borrowing another car, and actually I've been going with another family member to spend more time with them because, I mean, we're all stuck at home and we got all sorts of chaotic things. I like to spend time with one family member. In this case, it was my mom that came with me, and we were driving her car because, of course, my car cannot go down because it's a long distance. However, her car, the silver Buick Lucerne, yes, Red Fox may be a red Buick Lucerne, but that's not the only one. My mom also has a silver one. And unfortunately, that silver one has been having a few problems lately. Started off when it was actually me and my dad last time. We drove down, and about an hour out, we were coming up to a 4-way stop, and all of a sudden we could just feel and hear the sound of a bad wheel bearing. I should know this because my car has bad wheel bearings. So lucky for us that time, we were an hour out, and Mom came down to get us, and eventually they went back with a trailer to go pick the car up because, wow, here's how bad that bearing was. My dad poured his coffee on it, his hot coffee, and even the coffee was steaming. Yeah, that bearing was bad, but that's not actually the whole part. That's not actually what happened here. Obviously, it was kind of a sign that, yeah, this car needed repairs. I mean, the check engine light has been on for a few months at this point, so yeah, the car was kind of due for a few maintenance repairs and all that. After changing out the bearings, one day, it wouldn't start. We couldn't figure out why. We tried to take it down again, but it just would not start in our driveway. So we ended up taking another vehicle, which is our white GMC Yukon. Hey, that's the most popular video on the Random Alpha. I don't know how that surpassed my iPhone unboxing, but hey, that's now the most popular video I posted on my main channel back before this channel even existed. Anywho, so we took that down. The car's not starting, so we got problems. Sent it to the dealership to get it fixed because despite that my dad used to be a mechanic and knows how to work on a lot of this stuff, well, he's not anymore, and he doesn't really have the time to figure this out. And I have a rough idea of what goes on in cars, but it's a rough idea, and if I were to try to mess with it, I'm probably gonna break something. Yeah, the best option was to send it to the dealership. This didn't go very well. First of all, we had it towed because, of course, we can't start it. So it was towed to the dealership. We were told that we were going to get an update as of what was going on, and pretty much they told us tomorrow, the day after we brought it in, they were going to tell us what's wrong and what needs to be repaired and all that. About a week later, yes, it wasn't tomorrow, about a week later, we had called them and asked, hey, what's up? You said you'd give us an update the next day after we towed it, and it's been about a week. They hadn't even touched it. So for about a week, it's just been sitting in the car lot. They realized, oh, oops, we'll get to that tomorrow because at the time we called, it was like 7 at night. Next day, we get a phone call. There's no problem. Started right up. Okay, well, could you see if there are any other problems? Because like I said, the check engine light's on. We've had bearing replacements. I mean, it was kind of due for some maintenance things. We just kind of wanted to know the key areas. No, they did not check it, and we could tell because, oh man, that 2.5 hour drive really screwed us. So we brought the car home and we thought, okay, well, it's starting fine. And we took it on a couple other short trips, like to Walmart and other places. And yeah, it started up every time. So because aside from my car, that's the most efficient car we've got for going long distance. Yeah, we decided, okay, the car's been starting, everything seems fine. We're gonna take it on this 2.5-hour trip so I can go do vision therapy. We started it up. Starts fine. We drive the 2.5 hours down. I do my vision therapy after an hour. Get back in the car. Does not start. We have tried everything. Turn the key. It sounded like it wanted to start. We pressed the gas to give it as much fuel as we could, but that did nothing. So clearly, no matter what we tried, we could not get the thing to start. That really made me upset because, well, it didn't make just me upset. It also made my parents upset because this was their car, not mine. It made everyone upset because this car, despite that it was supposed to be checked the day after it was towed, was checked a week after and sent back to us saying, there's no issues, when we knew there was when it didn't start the first time, and we were stranded 2.5-hour drive away from home because our car wouldn't start. I will say, my mom was with me on the trip this time. We did have an interesting time of waiting for my dad to come and get us with the trailer because we were not going to leave it down overnight because, oh boy, by the time we got back home, it was 11:30. We waited for, first of all, Dad to get out of work because, well, he's got a job, he's got to make money somehow. And what we were doing in that, while we were waiting, was we went to Subway and Walgreens for a few snacks. We went on another walk, and then we found a burger joint with burgers for $2 on Tuesdays. So we decided to try it out. Yeah, it was pretty nice. So we kept ourselves fairly entertained with food and some walks around the neighborhood since we normally don't stay in that town for anything else. Waited about 3 hours because, of course, like I said, we had to wait for Dad to get out of work and for him to hitch the trailer to the truck. And then 3 hours later, he comes down and we were lucky we got out of there in time because a thunderstorm was actually rolling in. And you know, we actually just noticed a detail. Our car wouldn't start. Funny enough, our truck was actually barely idling. What do I mean by hours? I keep saying hour because I'm so used to sharing the vehicles with my parents because if my car's out of commission, I often borrow theirs. I realized the truck actually could end up the same way the car did because the truck was barely idling. But after about a half hour of frustration due to things not exactly panning the way that my dad wanted to, we got the car pulled up onto the trailer and everything strapped in, and then we hit the road. Finally, we got home at around 11:30, mainly because we ended up having to drive slower due to the fact that A, the truck was not exactly in its best condition, and B, neither was the trailer itself. We got home at 11:30 at night. Oh man, that was quite a misadventure. As of currently right now, the car is back at the dealership, which I'm a little eerie about because, I mean, after it was sent there and they didn't even check anything because, oh, it starts, that means there can't be anything wrong. I mean, yeah, sure, the check engine lights always see that, but there can't be anything wrong because it starts. Think again, we just got stranded 2.5 hours away from home. So it's currently there now, and finally we figured out what's wrong, the fuel pump. So now that we know that the fuel pump's wrong, my parents are gonna go through with payment on getting that fixed because evidently it involves removing the gas tank, and I just hear it's a nightmare. But I'm just upset that First of all, they sent the car to the dealership. They paid money for it too, by the way. They paid money to have it towed there and to get it checked. A week later, after they said, we're going to check it the next day after we get it towed, they didn't do anything. Gave us back the same broken car, and because we didn't know if it was broken or not, we ended up getting stranded 2.5 hours away from home. I really wished that we could have gotten our money back because of that, because if this was Red Fox in this scenario, if I sent it back for repairs, I'm saying do this right or we're gonna have some legal issues, because I sent this to get fixed. If I don't get it back fixed, we got some problems. In fact, that's pretty much how I would pay anyone to fix anything. I would pay people if I get a fixed product back. If I get the same broken product sent back, I'm sorry. This is not acceptable. And the fact that the dealership thought, oh, it's okay. Yeah, maybe a week late. Well, let's finally check it despite that we're a tad late on this. Oh, the engine starts up. Yeah, check engine lights on. Won't be a big deal. I mean, the engine starts up, everything seems fine. I'm sorry, but I do not want to pay for that, and unfortunately, they did. Come on, GM. This is ridiculous. Get your act together, because I know that you're focused on, yes, we have to charge expensive services because services is pretty much the only way we can make money, because not that many people want to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a brand new car every time. Let me tell you this, if you're going to have services, you better make sure they're good. Otherwise, you might not even sell any brand new vehicles in the first place, because if the people who don't want to spend the time servicing it because they either don't know how or they don't care to know how to do it and they'd rather pay someone else to do it anyways, they're not going to be happy if they send it back to you for repairs and they get the same broken product back, just like what happened here. That would lose future customers. If you're going to do services and you're going to sell stuff, you better make sure you get it right and get it right the first time. Because if you don't, you're going to lose customers because they're going to think, I bought this expensive thing, and this is for a brand new vehicle. The car that we drove is actually 10 years old. But if you were buying a brand new car, think about it. If you were buying a brand new car for, let's say $40,000, because that's the average price tag that is selling on a vehicle in the United States today. Let's say you just paid $40,000, which for some people is a year salary. That's expensive. All of a sudden it needs servicing and you're not familiar with how, and you're worried you're gonna break it. You'd rather send it to someone else who knows what they're doing. And imagine if this happened. You spend $40,000, you send them the car because it needs maintenance or repairs, and you get back something broken. Wouldn't you be mad? You'd probably be thinking, okay, I'm not gonna buy from here again, which for car dealerships, yeah, that's kind of big. I recommend if you do servicing, you better not screw it up. Dealerships, take note. You cannot screw up with things like these because you make a lot of money all up front when you sell one vehicle. It's gonna be difficult to keep selling them if you can't service them and people be satisfied with that, because if people can't get their cars serviced by you, they're not going to want to buy from you because they don't want to buy something that they know will break at some point and you will not fix. They'll buy from somewhere else. Dealerships, you better take note of this real quick because what just happened here, this is unacceptable. All right. Thank you for my another rant. Jeez, I'm up with the rants for these things today, but all right. Thanks for listening to this rant. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is Alpha DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out.